A hospital doors slid open at dawn. A Belgian Malinois limped through, blood trailing from his paw. Behind him, a small figure collapsed onto cold concrete. What happened next would expose a conspiracy reaching the highest levels of medical authority and reveal a bond that transcended death itself. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The morning was calm in Seattle. Rain tapped against Maya Chen's apartment window overlooking Puget Sound. She woke at 5:47, the same time every day. It wasn't an alarm that woke her. It was habit, muscle memory from years of early shifts. Years that felt like another lifetime now. Her hand reached for the nightstand. Her fingers brushed cold metal. Rex's collar. The tag still read K9547. She hadn't moved it in 8 months. Couldn't bring herself to put it away. That would mean accepting he was really gone. Maya sat up slowly. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. She used to wake to Rex's tail thumping against the floor, his warm breath on her face, his insistent nudge when she hit snooze. Now there was only silence, the kind that pressed against her chest and made breathing feel like work. She walked to the kitchen, poured coffee into a single mug. No point making a full pot anymore. Through the window, a ferry horn echoed across the water. The sound was lonely, mournful. It matched how she felt inside. On the refrigerator hung the photograph. The K9 unit, 3 years ago. 12 handlers and their dogs. Maya stood in the back row, Rex sitting proud beside her. His ears alert, his eyes bright. She remembered that day. Remembered how invincible she'd felt. How certain that nothing could break their bond. She'd been wrong. Maya dressed in civilian clothes, jeans and a worn jacket. Her badge sat in a drawer untouched. Administrative leave, they called it. Mandatory after a traumatic incident. The department psychologist said she needed time to process, to heal, to forgive herself. She wasn't sure forgiveness was possible. At 7, Maya left the apartment. The morning air was cold and damp. She walked toward Pike Place Market, hands shoved deep in pockets. Vendors were setting up stalls. The smell of fresh flowers mixed with coffee and sea salt. Tourists wouldn't arrive for hours. Right now, the market belonged to the early risers, the people who couldn't sleep, the people running from something. Maya knew she belonged to that group. She passed the fish market, the flower stands, a small cafe where she and Rex used to stop after patrol. The owner would sneak Rex a piece of bacon. Maya never told him it broke training protocol. Some rules deserved breaking. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Her sister. The third call this week. Maya declined it. She wasn't ready to explain how she was doing. Wasn't ready to lie and say she was fine. At 8, Maya found herself at the K9 training yard. She hadn't meant to come here. Her feet just carried her. Through the chain-link fence, she watched handlers running drills. Dogs leaping obstacles, responding to commands, working in perfect sync with their partners. She used to be one of them. A memorial plaque hung near the entrance. Brass, polished weekly. It listed the names of fallen canines. Rex's name was third from the bottom. Officer Rex, badge 547, killed in the line of duty. The words were clean, clinical. They didn't capture who he'd been, his loyalty, his courage, the way he'd thrown himself between Maya and a bullet without hesitation. Maya placed fresh flowers at the base, white roses, Rex's favorite, if dogs could have favorites. She did this every week. It was the only ritual that felt right anymore. Footsteps approached from behind. Maya didn't turn. She knew the gate. Sergeant Tom Vasquez, her former supervisor. The closest thing to a father she had left. Tom stopped beside her. He didn't speak immediately, just stood there, hands clasped behind his back. Respectful, patient. Finally, he cleared his throat. The unit needs you back, Maya. She kept her eyes on the plaque. I can't. Can't or won't. Does it matter? Tom shifted his weight. You're one of the best handlers we've ever had. Rex knew that. He trusted you completely. Maya's jaw tightened. He trusted me to keep him safe. I failed. You didn't fail. You survived. There's a difference. She finally looked at him. Tom's face was weathered, kind. His eyes held understanding that only came from loss. He'd buried 3 canine partners in his 30 years. Somehow,
He'd kept going. Maya.
Aya didn't know how. I'm not asking you to replace him, Tom said quietly. I'm asking you to honor him by doing what you both loved, what you were meant to do. Maya looked away. I'm not ready. Tom nodded slowly. When you are, we'll be here. He walked away, left Maya alone with the plaque and the ghosts. She stayed another 10 minutes, then turned toward home. The walk back felt longer, heavier. Each step required effort. At the grocery store, she bought single portions, 1 chicken breast, a small container of rice, a single apple. The cashier didn't comment, probably saw dozens of lonely people every day. Maya was just another face in the crowd. Outside, her neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, was walking a golden retriever puppy. The dog bounded over, tail wagging. Mrs. Patterson smiled apologetically. Sorry, he's still learning manners. Are you a dog person? Maya's throat tightened. I was. Oh, you should get one. They're wonderful company. Maya forced a smile, said nothing, walked faster. Behind her, Mrs. Patterson called out something else. Maya didn't hear it. Blood rushed in her ears. Her chest felt compressed. She made it to her apartment, closed the door, leaned against it. The silence swallowed her whole. Since Rex's death, Maya had built walls even concrete couldn't match. She'd stopped answering calls, stopped attending department gatherings, stopped pretending she was okay. It was easier to be alone, safer. If she didn't let anyone close, she couldn't lose them. But loneliness had weight. It pressed down on her shoulders, filled her lungs, made every breath taste like regret. Night fell. Maya stood at her window. The city lights reflected off the water. Somewhere out there, canine teams were working, protecting people, saving lives, doing what she used to do, what she was supposed to do. Rex's collar caught the lamplight. The metal gleamed. Maya picked it up, held it tight. The edges pressed into her palm. She welcomed the discomfort. It was better than feeling nothing. Tomorrow, she'd wake at 5:47, make coffee for 1, walk past the places that reminded her of Rex, visit his memorial, come home alone. The same routine, the same emptiness. She didn't know it yet, but tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow, everything would change. A dog that shouldn't exist would find her. A little girl would need saving, and Maya would discover that some bonds transcend death, that heroes can be born from tragedy, that sometimes the broken pieces can form something stronger than what came before. But tonight, she only knew the weight of loss, the ache of absence, the question that haunted her in the dark. Would she ever feel whole again? Maya woke at 5:47. Her body refused to break the pattern. She lay still, staring at the ceiling. Rain drummed against the window. Another Seattle morning, another day of emptiness stretching ahead. But something felt different. She couldn't name it. Just a tension in the air, a sense of anticipation she hadn't felt in months. She dressed in running clothes, black leggings, a gray sweatshirt. Her service weapon stayed locked in the drawer. She wasn't on duty, wasn't supposed to carry. But old habits died hard. She clipped a small canister of pepper spray to her waistband instead. The streets were empty at 6. Maya jogged along the waterfront. Her breath came in steady clouds. Her footsteps echoed off pavement. This was the only time she felt close to normal, when her body was moving, when her mind couldn't catch up with the grief. She ran past the ferry terminal, past closed shops, past benches where homeless people slept under tarps. The city was still waking. Maya preferred it this way, quiet, uncomplicated. At the old industrial district, she slowed. This area had been condemned for years. Warehouses with broken windows, graffiti-covered walls, chain-link fences sagging with rust. Most joggers avoided it. Maya found it peaceful. Nobody here to ask how she was doing. Nobody to offer empty condolences. Then she heard it, a sound that stopped her cold, whimpering, faint but distinct, coming from inside a warehouse 50 feet ahead. Maya's instincts kicked in. She approached cautiously. The fence had been torn open. Fresh damage. The metal was bent outward. Something had forced its way through, or escaped. She stepped through the gap. Glass crunched under her shoes. The warehouse interior was dim. Light filtered through holes in the roof. Puddles reflected gray sky. The air smelled of mold and rust and something else. Something metallic. Blood. The whimpering came from the far corner. Maya moved. Oved toward it. Her hand hovered near the pepper spray. She'd seen plenty of injured animals during patrol. raccoons, possums, once a cougar that had wandered down from the mountains. Wounded animals were unpredictable, dangerous. She rounded a pile of broken pallets. Then she saw him, a dog, young, maybe 18 months, Belgian Malinois, dark sable coat. He huddled against the wall. His right front paw was bleeding, not badly, but enough to leave a trail across the concrete. Maya knelt slowly, kept her distance, the dog's head lifted, his eyes locked onto hers. They weren't the eyes of a frightened animal. They were calculating, assessing, measuring threat level. This dog had been trained. Maya spoke softly. "Hey, buddy, you're hurt." The dog didn't growl, didn't bare teeth, just watched her with unnerving focus. She moved closer, inch by inch. Professional training took over. She'd handled hundreds of canines, knew how to read body language. This dog wasn't aggressive, wasn't scared either. He was waiting, evaluating her. Maya extended her hand, palm down, non-threatening. The dog sniffed the air. Then slowly, he stood, limped toward her, placed his injured paw in her outstretched hand. The gesture was so deliberate, so human. Maya's breath caught. She examined the paw gently. Glass embedded in the pad, not deep, easily treatable, but as she worked, she noticed other things. The dog's ears had been cropped, military style. His musculature was dense, overdeveloped for his age, and around his neck, barely visible through his fur, were marks. Circular scars, evenly spaced. Maya's stomach turned. She'd seen marks like this before. Shock collar burns. But these were different, more precise, like they'd been made by medical equipment. She looked at the dog's neck more carefully, found what she was looking for. A broken chain, still attached to a collar, and etched into the metal, almost invisible, were numbers: K9D207, military designation, or law enforcement. But Maya knew every active K9 unit in Washington. She'd never heard of this numbering system. The dog pulled his paw back, stood at full height. He wasn't large, maybe 60 pounds, but he carried himself like a creature twice that size. Confident, controlled. Maya stood slowly. "Who trained you?" The dog tilted his head, then turned toward the warehouse entrance, took 3 steps, stopped. Looked back at her, waiting. Maya's cop instinct screamed that something was wrong. Dogs didn't behave like this. Not strays, not without a handler present. This level of discipline required constant reinforcement, years of training, but he was barely more than a puppy. She should call animal control, let professionals handle this, walk away, go home, forget she'd seen him. But something stopped her, the way he'd placed his paw in her hand, the intelligence in his eyes. The scars on his neck that spoke of suffering she understood too well. "All right," she heard herself say. "Show me." The dog moved immediately, limped through the warehouse. Maya followed. Her heart pounded. This was stupid, reckless, following a strange dog through an abandoned building. But her feet kept moving. They emerged into an alley. The dog turned left, avoided the main street, kept to shadows. He moved with purpose, not randomly. He knew exactly where he was going. Maya jogged to keep up. The dog navigated through back streets, cut through a parking lot, crossed an intersection just as the light changed. He'd timed it perfectly. "You're avoiding cameras," Maya whispered. The dog glanced back, just for a second, then continued. They reached Maya's neighborhood. The dog slowed, stopped at the entrance to her building, sat down, perfectly, like he'd been commanded. Maya's blood ran cold. "How do you know where I live?" The dog stood. Walked to her apartment door, 3rd floor, end of the hall. He sat again, then raised his right paw, scratched the door, 3 times, pause, 2 times, pause, 1 time. Maya's hands trembled. That was a breach signal, used by tactical teams to communicate entry points. She'd seen it 1,000 times, but never from a dog, not without a handler giving commands. She unlocked the door with shaking fingers. The dog entered, swept the apartment with his eyes, checked the corners, the windows, the closet, then sat in the center of the living room, waiting for orders. Maya closed the door, locked it. Her mind raced. This wasn't possible. Dogs didn't navigate cities alone, didn't find specific addresses, didn't use tactical signals, not without human direction, unless they'd been trained for something. Inging beyond normal canine work, she knelt in front of him. "Who are you?" The dog's tail thumped once. His eyes held hers, and for just a moment, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in 8 months. Connection. She examined his injuries properly. The paw needed cleaning. The scars needed documentation. She fetched her first aid kit. The dog didn't flinch as she removed the glass, didn't whimper when she disinfected the wound. He sat perfectly still, like he'd been trained to endure pain. Maya's hands moved automatically, but her mind churned. Military canines were registered, tracked. If one went missing, alerts went out immediately. But she'd heard nothing, seen no bulletins, no reports of stolen dogs, which meant either he wasn't military or someone didn't want him found. She wrapped his paw in gauze. The dog watched her work. When she finished, he stood, walked to her couch, jumped up, turned 3 times, lay down. Like he lived here. Maya should have been alarmed, should have established boundaries, but exhaustion swept through her. She was tired of fighting, tired of being alone. And this strange, impossible dog felt like an answer to a question she hadn't known how to ask. She sat beside him. Her hand moved to his head. His fur was coarse, warm. He leaned into her touch. Outside, the city woke fully. Traffic hummed. Sirens wailed in the distance. Normal life continued, but inside Maya's apartment, something had shifted. A crack had formed in the walls she'd built, and through that crack, light was beginning to seep in. She didn't know his story yet, didn't understand how he'd found her, but she knew one thing with absolute certainty. This dog had chosen her, and somehow she'd needed to be chosen. Maya woke to find the dog staring at her, not in a creepy way, more like he was keeping watch, protecting her while she slept. The morning light cut through the blinds. She checked her phone. 7:30. She'd slept 3 hours past her usual time. The dog stood immediately, stretched. His injured paw touched the ground carefully, but bore weight, healing fast. Maya sat up. "You hungry?" The dog's ears perked, but he didn't rush to the kitchen, didn't beg, just waited for her to move first. Another sign of discipline that shouldn't exist in a stray. She opened her fridge, found leftover chicken, cut it into pieces, placed it in a bowl on the floor. The dog approached slowly, sniffed the food, then looked at her, waiting for permission. "Go ahead," Maya said softly. He ate carefully, not like a starving animal. He chewed each piece thoroughly, paused between bites, watched the door, the windows, never fully relaxed, always alert. Maya made coffee, watched him. Something was deeply wrong here. Dogs didn't behave this way naturally. This level of training took years. Constant reinforcement. A dedicated handler. Where was that handler now? After eating, the dog moved to the door, sat, looked at her expectantly. "You need out?" One sharp bark. Affirmative. Maya grabbed his makeshift leash, a rope she'd found in her closet. Not ideal, but functional. They headed downstairs. The dog stayed at perfect heel. Didn't pull, didn't sniff other dogs, didn't mark territory. He did his business efficiently, then returned to heel position. Back in the apartment, Maya decided to test something. She pointed to the couch. "Stay." The dog sat immediately. She walked to the kitchen. Out of sight, counted to 60. Returned. The dog hadn't moved, not an inch. "Come." He trotted over, sat in front of her. Maya's heart raced. "Who taught you this?" The dog tilted his head. His eyes held intelligence that made her uncomfortable, like he understood the question, like he could answer if he had the words. She needed to examine him properly, understand what she was dealing with. She ran her hands over his body, felt for injuries, abnormalities, anything that might explain him. Her fingers found more scars, on his ribs, his hindquarters, small puncture marks, evenly spaced, medical, intentional. "Someone experimented on you," she whispered. The dog remained still, let her explore, trusted her completely. Maya's cop mind cataloged everything. The scars, the training, the tactical knowledge, the mysterious code on his collar. This wasn't random. This was deliberate, systematic. Someone had invested serious time and resources into this dog, and then lost him. Or he'd escaped. She grabbed her phone, took photos of the scars, the collar markings, his distinctive features. He had a white star-shaped marking on his chest. Unusual, memorable. She needed answers, professional ones. Nez, Maya called Dr. Sarah Patel, the best canine veterinarian in Seattle. They'd worked together for years. If anyone could explain this dog, Sarah could. Maya, is that really you? Hey, Sarah, I need a favor. Anything. How are you holding up? Maya ignored the question. I found a dog. Something's off about him. Can you see him today? Silence. Then, off how? I need to show you. Can you fit me in? Come by at 2. I'll clear my schedule. Maya hung up, looked at the dog. He stared back, unblinking. We're getting you checked out. Figure out what you are. The dog's tail thumped once, like he understood, like he approved. The hours until the appointment dragged. Maya tried to work, responded to emails from the department, paperwork for her leave, but her attention kept drifting to the dog. He'd positioned himself by the front door, sitting, watching, like he expected someone to break in. At 1:30, Maya grabbed her keys. The dog stood immediately, ready. They walked to her car. The dog jumped into the passenger seat without prompting, sat facing forward, alert. Maya half expected him to buckle his own seatbelt. The drive took 15 minutes. The dog never moved, never panted, never showed excitement or anxiety. Just watched the road, like he'd done this 1,000 times. Dr. Patel's clinic sat on the edge of downtown. Modern, clean, specialized in working dogs. Police, military, search and rescue. Sarah had treated Rex since he was a puppy. Maya's chest tightened as they entered. Memories flooded back. Rex's last checkup had been here, 3 weeks before he died. Sarah had declared him in perfect health, prime condition. Nothing had prepared them for a bullet. Sarah emerged from the back. She was 40, Indian heritage, kind eyes behind frameless glasses. She smiled when she saw Maya, then her eyes dropped to the dog. Her smile faltered. Maya, what is that? That's what I need you to tell me. Sarah knelt slowly. The dog allowed her approach, let her examine him visually. Sarah's expression grew more confused with each passing second. Bring him to exam room 2. They followed her into a sterile white room. Stainless steel table in the center, equipment lining the walls. The dog jumped onto the table without being asked. Lay down, completely calm. Sarah pulled on gloves, began her examination. She worked in silence, checked his teeth, his eyes, his ears, palpated his abdomen, his legs, his joints. His musculature is abnormal, she said finally. Too developed him his age. I'd guess 18 months, but he's built like a 3-year-old in peak condition. What does that mean? I don't know yet. Sarah pulled out a stethoscope, listened to his heart, his lungs. Her frown deepened. Heart rate is slow, too slow, like an endurance athlete, and his breathing is incredibly efficient. She moved to his neck, found the scars Maya had discovered. Sarah's fingers traced them carefully. These are electrical burns, from a shock collar. But the pattern is wrong, too precise, too controlled. Controlled how? Shock collars for training are crude. They cause scattered burns. These are uniform, measured. Like someone was testing voltage thresholds. Maya's stomach turned. Someone tortured him? Not torture. Research. Sarah's voice was grin. Someone was experimenting. Testing his pain tolerance, his response to electrical stimulation. She moved to his legs, examined the injection marks. And these are from regular blood draws. Multiple sites. Rotated to prevent scarring. Professional technique. What the hell was someone doing to him? Sarah didn't answer. She moved to her computer, grabbed a scanner. Let me check for a microchip. She ran the scanner over the dog's neck, frowned, moved it again, then looked at Maya with troubled eyes. There's no chip, but there's scar tissue, right where a chip should be. Someone removed it, recently. See the inflammation? Maya leaned closer. A small raised area, still healing. Why would someone do that? Maya asked. To hide his identity, to make him untraceable. Sarah set down the scanner. Maya, where did you find this dog? Abandoned warehouse, industrial district. And he just came with you? He led me home, knew my address, used tactical signals. Sarah's face paled. That's not possible. I know, but I saw it. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Then she moved to a locked cabinet, pulled out a syringe. I want to run blood work, genetic markers. This dog isn't normal. She drew blood. The dog didn't flinch, didn't react at all, like needles were routine. Sarah labeled, bellied the vial, then turned to Maya. I've seen markers like this once before, 5 years ago. A classified briefing for canine vets. The military was running a program, genetic enhancement, trying to breed superior working dogs. Enhanced how? Faster reflexes, higher intelligence, greater endurance, stronger bite force. They wanted super soldiers on 4 legs. Maya's mouth went dry. What happened to the program? It was shut down. Congressional investigation. The dogs became unstable. Too aggressive. Several handlers were injured. The whole project was deemed unethical and terminated. When was it shut down? 2019. Maya looked at the dog. He stared back, calm, controlled, not aggressive at all. He doesn't seem unstable, Maya said. No, he doesn't. Sarah's voice was troubled, which means either the program continued secretly or someone restarted it. Maya returned to her apartment with more questions than answers. The dog followed at perfect heel. She locked the door behind them, triple-checked it. Something about Sarah's words had set her on edge. Genetic enhancement, secret programs, dogs bred as weapons. She looked at the dog sitting calmly in her living room. He didn't look like a weapon. He looked like a young dog who'd been hurt and needed help. But looks could deceive. Maya opened her laptop, started searching. She typed in variations of military canine programs, genetic enhancement. Project names. Most results were dead ends, public relations pieces, sanitized reports. Then she found something. A congressional hearing from 2019. The transcript was heavily redacted, but certain phrases remained visible. Unethical experimentation. Accelerated development protocols. Handler fatalities. Program termination recommended. The program's name appeared once, Project Apex. Maya searched for Project Apex specifically, found almost nothing. A few conspiracy theory websites, one academic paper discussing the ethics of military animal enhancement. No official records. She sat back, stared at the dog. What are you really? The dog tilted his head. His eyes held that same unsettling intelligence. Maya's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Officer Chen. A male voice, smooth, professional. Who is this? That's not important. What's important is that you have something belonging to us. Maya's blood chilled. I don't know what you're talking about. The dog, Belgian Malinois, approximately 18 months old. You removed him from the industrial district this morning. Maya stood, walked to the window, scanned the street below. How do you know that? We've been tracking him. He's government property. We need him returned. Project Apex was shut down. Silence on the line, then a low chuckle. You've been researching. Good. Then you understand what he is. What he's capable of. He needs specialized handling, specialized care. He seems fine to me, for now. But dogs like him have instabilities. Aggression triggers we don't fully understand. He's dangerous, Officer Chen, to you and everyone around you. Maya looked at the dog. He sat calmly, watching her. No signs of aggression, no instability. If the program was shut down, why do you want him back? Not all aspects were terminated. Some research continued, under different oversight. More ethical protocols. He's valuable, represents years of work. He's not property. He's a living being. He's a military asset, and you're interfering with federal operations. Return him voluntarily, and there won't be consequences. And if I don't, then we'll retrieve him ourselves, and you'll face charges. Theft of government property, obstruction, interfering with classified operations. The line went dead. Maya lowered the phone. Her hands trembled. The dog stood, moved to her side, leaned against her leg, offering comfort. She knelt, looked into his eyes. They want you back, but something tells me you don't want to go. The dog's ears flattened. A low whine escaped his throat. Not fear, refusal. Maya made a decision. Possibly a stupid one, definitely a career-ending one. But she couldn't hand this dog over to people who'd experimented on him, who'd burned him, who'd treated him like an object. All right, we play this smart. Figure out who you really are. She returned to her laptop, pulled up the photo she'd taken of his chest marking. The white star, distinctive, unique. She ran it through reverse image search. Nothing. She tried searching for decorated canines, Medal of Honor recipients, dogs killed in action, page after page, of results. Then, on page 7 she found it. A news article from 2 years ago. Photo of a Belgian Malinois with an identical chest marking. standing beside a female handler in tactical gear. The caption read, K-9 Dakota and Officer Jennifer Rodriguez honored for valor in counter-trafficking operation. Maya's heart raced. She clicked the article, read quickly. Dakota had been part of an elite task force, specialized in detecting concealed humans, rescued 37 trafficking victims over her career, killed in action during a raid 18 months ago. Her handler, Jennifer Rodriguez, had survived the initial incident but died later from complications. Maya searched for Jennifer Rodriguez, found an obituary, paramedic, Seattle area, died 8 months ago in the line of duty, survived by her mother Rosa and daughter Emma, age 6, 8 months ago. The same week Rex died. Maya's mind raced. Same incident? Had to be. There'd been a major operation that week. Multi-agency, a trafficking ring, 3 officers wounded, 1 K-9 killed, 1 paramedic killed responding to the scene. She'd been there. Rex had been shot during the raid. Jennifer Rodriguez had been the paramedic who'd tried to save him in the ambulance. Small world, or not coincidence at all. Maya looked at the dog, his chest marking, identical to Dakota's. You're her son, aren't you? The dog's tail wagged slightly. Recognition. She searched for more information on Dakota. Found breeding records. Dakota had been bred once, 18 months ago. Produced a litter of 4. All puppies were supposed to enter K-9 training programs, but there was no record of what happened to them. Maya's phone rang again. Different number. She answered cautiously. Officer Chen, this is Sergeant Vasquez. Relief flooded through her. Tom, thank God. Maya, what's going on? I just got a very strange call. Federal agents asking about you. About a dog. It's complicated. They said you stole classified property, that you're interfering with an ongoing operation. I found a dog, Tom, an abused dog, and now people are threatening me to get him back. What kind of dog? The kind that was part of Project Apex. Silence. Then Tom's voice dropped. Maya, that program was dirty, real dirty. I saw the classified reports. What they did to those animals was criminal. So why wasn't anyone prosecuted? National security. Everything sealed, but the dogs were supposed to be euthanized, humanely, to prevent the research from continuing. Maya looked at the dog, very much alive. This one wasn't. Then someone kept the program running, underground, and they want their asset back. He's not an asset, he's a victim. I agree, but you're in danger. These people don't mess around. If they want him badly enough, they'll come for him. I know. Come to the station. Bring the dog. We'll protect you both. Sort this out properly. Maya wanted to trust that, wanted to believe the system would work, but she'd seen too much, knew how federal jurisdiction worked, how classified operations superseded local authority. I need time to think. Maya. She hung up, immediately regretted it. Tom was trying to help, but involving the department might make things worse. The dog moved to the door, sat at attention. His body language screamed alert. What is it? A sound in the hallway. Faint. Footsteps. Too quiet. Too measured. Someone trying not to be heard. Maya moved to the window, looked down. 2 black SUVs parked across the street. Government plates. They'd found her. Already. She grabbed her jacket, the dog's leash. We're leaving, now. But before she could reach the door, someone knocked. Hard. Authoritative. Officer Chen. Federal agents. Open the door. The dog growled. Deep. Threatening. The first real aggression she'd seen from him. Maya's mind raced. Her apartment had no back exit. 3rd floor. No fire escape. She was trapped. The knocking came again. Harder. We have a warrant. Open the door or we'll force entry. Maya looked at the dog, at his intelligent eyes, at the scars covering his body, at the fear and rage barely contained beneath his trained exterior. She'd made her choice when she brought him home. Now she had to live with the consequences. She moved away from the door, pulled out her phone, started recording. I'm a Seattle police officer, she called out. I want to see credentials and a warrant before I open this door. You're on administrative leave, Officer Chen. You have no authority here. I'm still a citizen. Show me the warrant. A pause. Then paper slid under the door. Maya picked it up, read quickly. It looked official. Federal seal. Judge's signature. Authorization to retrieve classified property. But something was wrong. The judge's name, the district. It didn't match Seattle jurisdiction. This warrant isn't valid here, Maya called. Open the door. Last warning. The dog moved between Maya and the door, his body coiled, ready to fight, to protect. Maya made a split-second decision. She opened the window, 3 stories up, no ledge. But the neighboring building had a fire escape, 10 feet away, an impossible jump, unless you were desperate. She looked at the dog. Can you make that? The dog looked at the gap, back at her, then at the door being hammered by federal agents. He jumped onto the windowsill, gathered himself, and leaped. The dog landed on the fire escape. Perfect. Impossible, but perfect. Maya heard her door splinter behind her. She didn't look back. She jumped. Her body sailed through empty air. 3 stories of nothing beneath her. Her fingers caught the railing. Pain shot through her shoulders. She pulled herself up, scrambled onto the metal platform. Behind her, shouts erupted from her apartment. The dog was already descending the fire escape. Maya followed. Her feet clanged on metal stairs. 2 floors down, 1 floor. The dog leaped the final 8 feet to the alley below, landed in a crouch, looked up at her. Maya jumped, hit the ground hard. Her ankles screamed. But she rolled, came up running. They sprinted through the alley. The dog led. He knew the city somehow, knew which turns to take, which streets to avoid. Maya's lungs burned, her legs pumped. Behind them, voices shouted. Footsteps pursued. The dog cut left into a narrow passage between buildings, barely wide enough for Maya's shoulders. She squeezed through, emerged onto a side street. The dog was already moving, toward the market district, toward crowds. Smart. Lose themselves in people. Pike Place Market buzzed with afternoon shoppers, tourists, locals, street performers. The dog slowed to a trot, stayed close to Maya's leg, looked like a normal pet now. Nothing threatening, nothing unusual. Maya forced herself to walk normally. Her heart hammered. Sweat soaked her shirt. She glanced back, saw 2 men in dark suits pushing through the crowd, scanning faces. The dog tugged her toward a side entrance, downstairs, into the lower market. Fewer people here. Antique shops, art galleries. The dog moved with purpose, led her through a maze of corridors, emerged near the waterfront. A 24-hour diner sat at the corner, red neon sign, steamed windows. The dog headed straight for it. Maya followed, pushed through the door. The smell of coffee and grease hit her. A waitress looked up, middle-aged, tired eyes. No dogs allowed. Maya pulled out her badge. Her hands shook. Police emergency. Service animal. Please. The waitress hesitated, then nodded. Corner booth. Keep him quiet. Maya slid into the booth, back to the wall. The dog lay at her feet, under the table, out of sight. His body pressed against her legs, warm, solid, real. Maya's phone buzzed. She pulled it out. Text from Tom Vasquez. Where are you? Federal agents tore through your apartment, said you assaulted them. Maya typed back quickly. I didn't assault anyone. They broke in. I ran. They have a warrant. Fake warrant. Wrong jurisdiction. 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then appeared again. Maya, you're making this worse. Come in. Let me help. She didn't respond, looked out the window instead. The 2 men in suits walked past, scanning, searching. They didn't look in the diner. The dog shifted under the table. His ears twitched, alert. The waitress approached with coffee. You look like you need this. Thank you. Maya's voice cracked. You okay, honey? Just a rough day. The waitress glanced under the table. Saw the dog. He's a beauty. What's his name? Maya realized she'd never named him. Ranger. It came out automatically. The name felt right. Strong. Capable. Well, Ranger's welcome here, long as he behaves. The waitress left. Maya sipped the coffee. It was bitter, scalding, perfect. Her mind raced. She couldn't go home, couldn't go to the station. Federal agents wanted Ranger back, were willing to break laws to get him, which meant they had something to hide. The question was what? Maya pulled out her phone, searched for Jennifer Rodriguez again, found her address, an apartment in Ballard, about 3 miles away. Jennifer's mother and daughter still lived there according to public records. Maybe they had answers. Maybe they knew. About Dakota. About the program. About why Ranger had found Maya specifically. It was a long shot, but it was all she had. She stood, dropped cash on the table. Ranger emerged from under the booth. They headed for the exit. Maya scanned the street. Clear for now. They walked quickly, stayed off main roads, cut through neighborhoods. residential areas where 2 SUVs would stand out. The rain started again. Cold, steady, good, fewer people outside. Easier to stay hidden. 30 minutes later, they reached the Ballard address. A modest apartment complex. 2 stories. Faded blue paint. Playground in the courtyard. Maya found the unit number, 2B. Climbed the exterior stairs. Knocked. A woman answered. 60s, Latina. Kind face lined with grief. This had to be Rosa Rodriguez, Jennifer's mother. "Can I help you? Mrs. Rodriguez? My name is Maya Chen. I'm a police officer. I need to talk to you about your daughter." Rosa's expression tightened. "Jennifer's been gone 8 months. What's this about?" "It's about her canine partner, Dakota." Rosa's eyes widened. She looked past Maya, saw Ranger sitting on the landing. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Dios mío, that's her puppy. That's Dakota's baby. You know him? Jennifer showed me pictures. Before." Rosa's voice broke. "Before she died. Come in, please." They entered. The apartment was small but immaculate. Photos covered the walls. Jennifer in her paramedic uniform. A little girl with dark curls. Dakota in tactical gear. Rosa stared at Ranger. "How did you find him?" "He found me, in an abandoned warehouse. He was injured, scared. He shouldn't exist." Rosa moved to a bookshelf, pulled down a photo album. "Jennifer told me about the program, about what they were doing to Dakota, to her puppies." She opened the album, showed Maya pictures. Dakota pregnant, then with 4 puppies, all with the distinctive star marking on their chests. "The program was supposed to end," Rosa continued. "They promised Jennifer, no more experiments, no more enhancements, but then she found out the truth." "What truth?" Rosa's hands trembled. "They didn't stop. They just moved the program, made it secret. Dakota's puppies were supposed to be euthanized, humanely, but Jennifer discovered they were still alive, being used for research. Horrible things." Maya's stomach turned. "What kind of research?" "Genetic manipulation, accelerated growth, pain tolerance testing. They wanted perfect soldiers, perfect weapons. Jennifer tried to expose it, gathered evidence, was bringing it to the police." "What happened?" Rosa's eyes filled with tears. "Her ambulance was diverted, the night of the big raid. She was supposed to go to Seattle Grace Hospital. But at the last minute, they changed her route, sent her to County General instead. She never made it." Maya's blood ran cold. "Someone diverted her?" "The official report said it was a communication error, but Jennifer's partner said it was deliberate. Someone radioed false coordinates. Who? She didn't know. But Jennifer had been threatened, told to drop her investigation, told that accidents happen to people who ask too many questions." Maya looked at Ranger. He sat calmly, but his eyes held understanding, like he knew exactly what Rosa was saying. "Jennifer managed to save 1 puppy," Rosa whispered. "The night before she died, she broke into the facility, got him out, hid him. Where? I don't know. She never told me. Said it was safer if I didn't know. But she made me promise something. If anything happened to her, I had to find him, protect him." "Why?" Rosa moved to the window, looked out at the courtyard. "Because he's evidence, his blood, his genetics. Prove the program continued. Prove what they did was illegal." A sound from the hallway made them both turn. A little girl stood in the doorway, 6 years old, dark curls, big eyes. She stared at Ranger. "Emma Rodriguez, Jennifer's daughter." The girl moved slowly across the room. Ranger stood. His tail wagged gently. Emma reached out, touched the star on his chest. Her fingers traced it carefully. Then she spoke. Her first words in 8 months, according to Rosa's whispered gasp. "Mommy's dog." Ranger leaned into her touch. A soft whine escaped his throat. Not distress. Recognition. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Mommy said you'd come back." Rosa clutched Maya's arm. "She hasn't spoken since Jennifer died. Not one word." Emma wrapped her arms around Ranger's neck. "You're supposed to protect me," Mommy said. Ranger licked her face gently. His whole body relaxed, like he'd found what he'd been searching for. Or, Maya's throat tightened. This was why Ranger had found her. Not randomly. Jennifer had known Maya, had worked on Rex in the ambulance, had connected them somehow, left clues, breadcrumbs leading Ranger to someone who would understand, who would help. Emma suddenly gasped, clutched her stomach. Her face went pale. Rosa rushed to her. "Emma, what's wrong?" The girl doubled over. "It hurts, Abuela." Where, mija? My tummy, like before. Rosa's face filled with fear. We need to go to the hospital, now. Ranger barked, sharp, urgent. He moved to Emma, sniffed her abdomen, his hackles raised. He barked again, more insistent. Maya's instinct screamed. Something was very wrong. Emma collapsed. Her small body crumpled to the floor. Rosa screamed, dropped to her knees beside her granddaughter. Emma, baby, talk to me. The girl's eyes rolled back, her lips turned pale. Maya's training kicked in. She knelt, checked Emma's pulse. Rapid, Freddy. Her skin was clammy, cold. How long has she been sick? Rosa's hands shook. 3 days, maybe 4. I took her to Seattle Grace twice. They said it was just a stomach bug. Told me to give her fluids and rest. Maya pulled out her phone, dialed 911. I need an ambulance. 6-year-old girl, unconscious, rapid pulse, possible internal bleeding. Ranger pressed against Emma. His nose worked over her abdomen. He whined, high-pitched, urgent. The sound Maya had heard from canines, detecting explosives, drugs, threats. He'd found something, inside Emma. Ambulance is 2 minutes out, the dispatcher said. Maya looked at Rosa. Which hospital do you usually go to? Seattle Grace. It's closest. No. Maya's voice was sharp. Not there. But, trust me, we're going to County General. Rosa's eyes widened with understanding. You think. I think your daughter was killed for a reason, and I think Emma might be in danger for the same reason. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Ranger's agitation increased. He barked at the door, then at Emma, back to the door. He was trying to tell them something. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed in. Young man and woman, professional, efficient. They assessed Emma quickly. Possible ruptured spleen, the woman said. We need to move now. They loaded Emma onto a stretcher. Rosa climbed into the ambulance. Maya moved to follow. The male paramedic blocked her. Family only. Maya flashed her badge. Police escort. The child may be in danger. He hesitated, then nodded. Fine, but the dog stays. The dog comes. He's part of the investigation. That's against... A black SUV turned onto the street, 2 blocks away, moving fast. Maya's blood froze. We need to go, now. She pushed past the paramedic. Ranger jumped into the ambulance. Maya followed. The doors slammed shut. The ambulance pulled away, lights flashing, sirens blaring. Through the rear window, Maya watched the SUV screech to a stop outside Rosa's building. 2 men in suits emerged, looked around. One pulled out a phone. They'd been tracked somehow, followed. The female paramedic worked on Emma. IV line, oxygen mask. Her face was grim. Blood pressure's dropping. We need to get her to a trauma center fast. County General, Maya said. The driver's voice came through the speaker. Seattle Grace is closer. 5 minutes versus 15. County General. That's an order. You don't have authority to. Maya leaned forward. This child's mother was killed 8 months ago. Ambulance diversion. Someone tampered with her route. I'm not letting that happen again. Silence. Then the driver's voice, quieter. Copy that. County General. The ambulance sped through traffic. Ranger sat beside Emma's stretcher. His eyes never left her face. His body was tense, alert, like he was standing guard. The female paramedic glanced at him. That's the calmest I've ever seen a dog in an emergency. What is he? Trained, Maya said simply. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. You can't run forever, Officer Chen. Return the asset. Last chance. Maya deleted it. Looked at Ranger. He wasn't an asset. He was a victim. A survivor. And somehow, he was connected to Emma, in ways Maya was only beginning to understand. The ambulance pulled into County General's emergency bay. Doors flew open. ER team waited. They moved Emma quickly, efficient, coordinated. Maya and Ranger followed. Rosa stayed close to her granddaughter. A doctor met them at the entrance. 50s, gray hair, confident bearing. What do we have? The paramedic rattled off vitals, symptoms, timeline. The doctor's expression darkened. Kenneth, get her to CT immediately. Call surgery. This looks like internal bleeding. They rushed Emma down a hallway. Maya tried to follow. A nurse stopped her. You need to wait here. I'm police. This child may be in danger. From what? Maya hesitated. How could she explain? That a secret government program had experimented on dogs? That Emma's mother had been killed for trying to expose it? That the girl might be targeted next? It sounded insane. Just keep her safe, Maya said. Don't let anyone near her without checking ID. And if anyone from Seattle Grace shows up, call me immediately. The nurse's eyes narrowed. Seattle Grace? Why would... Just do it, please. The nurse nodded slowly, walked away. Maya sank into a waiting room chair. Ranger sat at her feet. They'd made it, for now. Rosa paced. Her rosary beads clicked through her fingers. Prayers whispered in Spanish. Maya watched her. This woman had already lost her daughter. Now her granddaughter was fighting for life. 20 minutes passed. 30. Each second felt like an hour. A doctor emerged, different from before. Younger, sharp eyes. He moved directly to Maya. Officer Chen? Yes. I'm Dr. Marcus Webb. I ran Emma's CT scan. He glanced around, lowered his voice. We need to talk. Privately. They moved to a consultation room. Small, sterile. Dr. Webb closed the door. His expression was troubled. Emma has a ruptured spleen. She needs surgery immediately. But I found something else. What? Old surgical scars. Internal. Very precise. Professional grade. Maya's stomach dropped. What kind of surgery? I can't tell without opening her up, but the placement is suspicious. Near major organs, like someone was... He trailed off. Mapping her anatomy? Dr. Webb's face paled. How did you know? Her mother discovered an organ trafficking ring. She was killed trying to expose it. And you think someone marked Emma? I think someone saw her as future inventory. Dr. Webb's jaw tightened. That's monstrous. Can you help her? I can repair the spleen, remove the scar tissue, document everything. But if there's really a trafficking ring operating through hospitals... He looked genuinely afraid. I need to report this. Police, FBI, someone. I'll handle it, just save her. Dr. Webb nodded, started to leave, then stopped. The dog. He detected this, didn't he? Internal injuries. That's what the whining was about. He was trained to detect concealed humans, trafficking victims. Apparently he can also detect internal trauma. That's remarkable. That's why people want him dead. Dr. Webb's expression hardened. I'll protect Emma. You protect that dog. Whatever he knows could save other children. He left. Maya returned to the waiting room. Rosa looked up. Hope and fear warred in her eyes. They're taking her to surgery, Maya said. The doctor's good. She'll be okay. You promise? Maya wanted to guarantee Emma would survive, would recover, would live a normal life. But she'd learned the hard way that promises meant nothing against bullets and betrayal. I'll do everything I can, she said instead. Rosa nodded, understood what Maya wasn't saying. Ranger suddenly stood. His ears perked. He stared at the emergency entrance. A low growl rumbled from his chest. Maya followed his gaze. A man in a white coat entered. Distinguished, confident. Hospital administrator badge clipped to his pocket. Dr. Vincent Hale, according to his badge. He spoke to the reception nurse. She pointed toward the waiting room, toward Maya. Hale's eyes met Maya's. His smile was cold, professional, predatory. He walked over, extended his hand. Officer Chen? I'm Dr. Hale, administrator at Seattle Grace. I heard you brought in Emma Rodriguez. Maya didn't shake his hand. News travels fast. We care about our patients. Emma's been to our ER twice this week. We were concerned when she didn't return. She's being treated here now. I can see that. But her medical records are at Seattle Grace. I'd like to transfer them. Ensure continuity of care. County General can request them through proper channels. Hale's smile tightened. Of course, I just want what's best for Emma. Ranger's growl intensified. His hackles raised. Every muscle in his body tensed. He positioned himself between Maya and Hale. Hale looked at Ranger. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition and fear. That's an unusual dog, Hale said carefully. He's protective. I can see that. Where did you get him? Does it matter? Just making conversation. Hale's voice stayed pleasant, but his eyes were hard, calculating. Well, I should let you rest. If you need anything, Seattle Grace is always available. He walked away. Ranger watched until he disappeared through the exit, then relaxed slightly. But his gaze stayed locked on the door. Maya pulled out her phone, texted Tom Vasquez. Need background on Dr. Vincent Hale, administrator at Seattle Grace. Everything you can find. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, on it. Where are you? County General. Emma Rodriguez in surgery. The girl from the photos? Jennifer's daughter? Yes. I think she was marked by traffickers. Hale showed up minutes after we arrived. Too fast to be coincidence. Be careful, I'm sending backup. No, too many cops will draw attention. Just get me info on Hale. Maya, you're in over your head. I know, but I can't stop now. She pocketed her phone, looked at Ranger. He'd known Hale, had reacted with pure aggression, which meant they had history, bad history. And if Hale was involved in Emma's illness, in Jennifer's death, then Ranger was the key to proving it. His genetics, his training, his very existence was evidence of crimes that reached high levels. No wonder they wanted him eliminated. 2 hours passed. Maya paced the waiting room. Ranger stayed alert, watching, always watching. Rosa sat motionless, her lips moved in constant prayer. Finally, Dr. Webb emerged. Surgical scrubs, tired eyes, but he was smiling. She's stable. The surgery went well. Rosa stood. Can I see her? Soon. She's in recovery. Another 30 minutes. The internal scars? Maya asked. Dr. Webb's smile faded. Documented everything. Photographed. Took tissue samples. You were right. Someone performed exploratory surgery. Mapped her organs. Blood-type markers were left in the tissue, like tags. Maya's hands clenched. They were cataloging her. It appears so. But there's more. Dr. Webb pulled out his tablet. Showed Maya images. I found a tracker, subdermal, right below her ribcage, medical grade, sophisticated. They were monitoring her location? More than that. It also tracks vitals, heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen levels. Someone wanted real-time health data. Why? Best guess, waiting for optimal harvest conditions, when her organs were at peak health. Maya felt sick. Emma was 6 years old, a child, and someone had turned her into inventory. I removed the tracker, Dr. Webb continued, sent it to the lab, but whoever planted it will know it stopped transmitting. How long before they realize? Could be minutes, could be hours, depends on their monitoring frequency. Maya's phone buzzed, text from Tom. Got your info on Hale, you need to see this, sending encrypted file now. A document loaded. Maya opened it, started reading. Her blood turned cold. Dr. Vincent Hale, 48 years old, medical degree from Johns Hopkins, spotless record, published researcher, multiple awards, administrator at Seattle Grace for 7 years. But buried in his financial records were irregularities, large cash deposits, offshore accounts, travel to countries known for medical tourism and organ trafficking, Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, South America, and connections to shell corporations. One named Apex Biomedical Solutions, Apex, like Project Apex. Maya kept reading, found more. Hale had been a consultant for a military canine program 5 years ago. Right when Project Apex was supposedly shut down, he'd been part of it, had access to the research, the dogs, the genetic data. And when Congress terminated the program, Hale had moved to Seattle, started at Seattle Grace, where ambulances brought patients daily, where vulnerable people arrived in crisis, where organs could be harvested without questions. He'd continued the program, privately, used hospital resources, built a trafficking network disguised as medical care. Jennifer Rodriguez had discovered it, and paid with her life. A commotion at the emergency entrance broke Maya's focus. Raised voices, security guards converging. She stood, moved to see. 3 men in tactical gear pushed through. Not police, not federal agents. Private security, expensive equipment, military bearing. They moved with purpose, toward the surgical wing, toward recovery, toward Emma. Maya ran. Ranger sprinted ahead. They reached the recovery hallway as the men approached Emma's room. A nurse stood in their way. You can't go in there. Family only. The lead man shoved her aside. She hit the wall, slumped down. Hey, Maya shouted, drew her service weapon. Seattle PD, stop right there. The men turned, saw her gun, smiled. Like it was. It's funny. You're on leave, Officer Chen. No authority. I have authority to stop an assault. We're retrieving hospital property. Step aside. That's a 6-year-old girl in there. That's a tagged asset. Our employer has legal claim. Maya's finger tightened on the trigger. Your employer is going to prison. The lead man's hand moved to his hip, toward a concealed weapon, but before he could draw, Ranger launched 60 pounds of genetically enhanced muscle and rage. He hit the man's arm. Jaws clamped on his wrist. The gun clattered to the floor. The man screamed, tried to shake Ranger off, couldn't. Ranger's bite was surgical, precise, enough pressure to disable. not enough to permanently damage. The other two men drew weapons, aimed at Ranger. Maya fired, 2 shots, into the ceiling. The sound was deafening in the hallway. Everyone froze. "Next ones go center mass," Maya said. Her voice was steady, cold. "Drop your weapons." Hospital security arrived. Real security. 3 guards, armed. They took in the scene, made their choice, aimed at the tactical team. "Drop them. Now." The men complied. Ranger released the first man's wrist, stepped back, positioned himself in front of Emma's door. His message was clear. Nobody gets through. Security detained the men. Maya lowered her weapon. Her hands shook, adrenaline crash. She'd almost shot someone, almost crossed a line she couldn't uncross. Dr. Webb appeared. "Assess the injured nurse. She's okay, bruised but okay." Maya's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. "Officer Chen." That was unwise. Hale's voice, calm, controlled. "You sent men to kidnap a child. I sent men to retrieve property. You interfered. Again. Emma's not property. She's a human being. She's a perfectly matched donor, rare blood type, optimal organ health, worth millions on the right market." Maya's stomach turned. "You're confessing to human trafficking." "I'm stating facts. Facts you can't prove. My men will claim they were confused, thought they were at a different hospital. Misunderstanding. No charges will stick. I have Emma's tracker, evidence of your surgical marking, documentation that could have been fabricated by a police officer on administrative leave with a history of trauma and instability. Who believe you?" "I'll make them believe." Hale laughed. "You're out of options, Officer Chen. Give me the dog. Walk away. Forget this ever happened. I'll ensure Emma receives the best care. She'll live a long, healthy life. As inventory? As a protected asset. She'll never want for anything. Medical care, education, safety. Better than her grandmother can provide." "You're insane. I'm practical. The organ shortage is real. People die every day waiting for transplants. I provide solutions. Save lives. Yes, I profit. But the work is noble." "Noble?" Maya's voice rose. "You murdered Jennifer Rodriguez." Silence on the line. Then Hale's voice turned cold. "Jennifer was unfortunate. She couldn't see the bigger picture. Insisted on being difficult. Accidents happen to difficult people." "That's a confession. Unsending unrecorded, inadmissible. You have nothing." The line went dead. Maya lowered the phone. Her hands trembled with rage. Hale was right. She had evidence but nothing concrete. Nothing that would survive legal challenges. A good lawyer would shred it, and Hale could afford the best lawyers. Tom Vasquez appeared at the end of the hallway, 2 uniformed officers with him. He saw Maya. Relief and concern warred on his face. "Maya, thank God." She met him halfway. "Tom, Hale just confessed, over the phone, to trafficking, to murdering Jennifer Rodriguez. Did you record it?" "No." Tom's expression fell. "Then it's hearsay." "I know, but nothing. Without evidence, he walks. You know how this works." Maya wanted to scream, wanted to break something. Years of police work, years of playing by rules, and still the guilty went free. A nurse approached. "Officer Chen, Emma's awake. She's asking for her grandmother. And the dog." They moved to recovery. Emma lay in bed, pale, fragile, but alive. Rosa sat beside her, holding her hand, tears streaming down her face. Emma saw Ranger. Her face brightened. "You stayed." Ranger moved to the bedside, placed his head on the mattress. Emma's small hand touched his fur. "Monty said you'd protect me. You did." Rosa looked at Maya. "What happens now?" "Now we make sure Emma's safe, and we find a way to stop Hale." Tom pulled Maya aside. "I brought someone, FBI agent, specializes in medical fraud and trafficking. She's downstairs, wants to talk." Hope flickered. "She'll investigate? If we can give her enough to start." "Your testimony, Emma's medical records, the tracker. It's not much, but it's a beginning." "What about Ranger?" Tom looked at the dog, at his intelligent eyes, his protective stance. "The feds still want him, still claim he's classified property." "He's not property, he's evidence of illegal continuation of Project Apex. His genetics prove it." "Then we need to keep him safe until this goes to trial. Protective custody." Maya knelt beside Ranger, looked into his eyes. "You trust me?" One tail wag. "Clear, affirmative. Then we finish this, together." The FBI agent arrived. Agent Sarah Morrison, 40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes, She interviewed Maya for 2 hours, took Emma's medical records, examined the tracker, phonographed Ranger, drew blood samples. "This is good," Morrison said finally. "Not enough for immediate arrest, but enough to open an investigation. Subpoena Hale's records, his associates, follow the money." "How long?" Maya asked. "Weeks, maybe months. These cases take time." "Emma doesn't have months. Hale knows we're onto him. He'll disappear. We'll monitor him. 24-hour surveillance. If he runs, we'll know." It wasn't enough, but it was something. Morrison looked at Ranger. "The dog needs to go into federal custody. Evidence protection." "No." Maya's voice was firm. "Officer Chen. He stays with me. Hale's people already tried to take him once. In federal custody, he's vulnerable. With me, he's protected." Morrison considered, then nodded. "Fine. But you're responsible for him. Anything happens, it's on you." "Understood." Morrison left. Ton stayed. He looked tired, older than his 55 years. "You did good today, Maya. Saved a little girl, exposed a monster. Rex would be proud." Maya's throat tightened. "I didn't do it alone." She looked at Ranger. He looked back. And in that moment, Maya understood. Rex had sent him, somehow, across death and distance, had connected them. Two broken souls who needed each other. "Come on," she said to Ranger. "Let's go home." 3 weeks passed. Emma recovered in the hospital. Her strength returned slowly. Color came back to her cheeks. She smiled more, talked more. The trauma was still there, would always be there, but she was healing. Rosa never left her side. She slept in a chair by Emma's bed, held her hand through nightmares, sang her grandmother's lullabies from Mexico. Love was the best medicine, and Rosa had oceans of it. Maya visited daily, brought books, stuffed animals, updates on the investigation. Agent Morrison was building a case, following money trails, interviewing former Seattle Grace employees. 2 nurses had come forward, testified about suspicious patient deaths, organs harvested without consent. Hale's fingerprints were everywhere, but the man himself had vanished. 2 days after the hospital incident, Hale stopped showing up for work. His house was empty, his bank accounts closed. He'd run, disappeared into whatever network protected men like him. Morrison assured Maya they'd find him. Interpol was involved now, international warrants issued. But Maya knew the truth. Men with Hale's resources could hide forever. Money bought new identities, new lives. Justice wasn't guaranteed, but at least Emma was safe. The tracker was gone. Her medical records flagged. Anyone trying to access them would trigger alarms. And Ranger never left Maya's side. He'd become her shadow, her partner, her family. The department cleared Maya for return to duty. The shooting was ruled justified. Defense of a child. The federal agents who'd tried to take Ranger had been revealed as private contractors, hired by shell corporations traced back to Hale. Their warrants were fake, their authority non-existent. Maya was a hero. The media said so. Television interviews, newspaper articles. Officer Maya Chen, who'd exposed a trafficking ring and saved a little girl. She hated the attention, but it served a purpose. Public pressure meant the investigation couldn't be buried. Hale couldn't be protected. On a Tuesday morning, Emma was discharged. Dr. Webb signed the release papers personally, gave Rosa his private number, told her to call if anything seemed wrong, anything at all. They wheeled Emma to the exit. She insisted on walking the last few steps, proving she was strong. Rosa held one hand. Maya held the other. Ranger walked beside them. Outside, Seattle was bright. Clear sky, rare for November. Emma tilted her face to the sun, breathed deep. Freedom smelled. It like car exhaust and coffee. She didn't care. It was beautiful. A crowd waited. Media, well-wishers, department brass. Sergeant Vasquez stood at the front. Beside him, the mayor. Behind them, uniformed officers in formation. K-9 units lined both sides. 14 dogs sitting at perfect attention. Emma's eyes went wide. So many dogs. They're here for Ranger, Maya said, to honor him. The mayor stepped forward, cleared his throat. Cameras flashed, microphones extended. Today we recognize extraordinary bravery. Officer Maya Chen, who put her life on the line to protect a child, and K-9 Ranger, son of the decorated Dakota, who proved that heroism runs in the blood. Applause erupted. Emma clapped loudest, her small hands making big noise. The mayor continued. Officer Chen, the city of Seattle thanks you. Your dedication to justice, your refusal to give up, your courage in facing impossible odds. You embody everything we want in our police force. He presented Maya with a medal, Valor, the highest honor the department gave. Maya accepted it. Her hands shook. This wasn't why she'd done it. She'd done it because it was right, because Emma deserved protection, because Ranger deserved a chance. But recognition mattered. It meant the world was watching, meant Hale couldn't be swept under the rug. And for K-9 Ranger, the mayor said, we present this. Vasquez stepped forward, held a custom badge, brass, engraved. It read, K-9 Ranger, badge 847, son of Dakota, hero. Maya knelt, attached the badge to Ranger's new collar. He sat perfectly still, dignified, like he understood the significance. The crowd applauded again. Emma hugged Ranger, buried her face in his fur. You're official now. Ranger's tail wagged, slow, controlled, but definitely happy. A woman approached from the crowd. 50s, professional attire, kind face. She introduced herself to Rosa. I'm Catherine Mills, Family Services. I wanted to meet Emma, make sure she has everything she needs. Rosa tensed. Are you taking her? No, absolutely not. You're her family, her guardian. I'm here to help. Counseling services, financial assistance, whatever you need to give Emma the best life possible. Rosa's shoulders relaxed. Thank you. Catherine knelt in front of Emma. You're very brave. What happened to you was terrible, but you survived, and you have people who love you. Remember that when things get hard. Emma nodded. And I have Ranger. Yes, you have Ranger. The ceremony concluded. People dispersed. Maya, Rosa, Emma, and Ranger headed to the parking lot. A van waited. Donated by a local charity. Wheelchair accessible. Room for groceries. For life. Rosa cried when she saw it. Good tears. Grateful tears. They drove to Rosa's apartment, helped Emma inside. She was tired. Surgery recovery took time. She lay on the couch. Ranger jumped up beside her without permission. Rosa started to scold him. Maya stopped her. Let him stay. He'll keep her safe. Rosa nodded. Will you stay for dinner? Maya wanted to be part of this family, this warmth. But she also knew they needed time, space, a chance to heal without outsiders. Another time, I promise. She left, drove home. Her apartment felt different now, less empty. Ranger had changed that. His presence filled spaces she hadn't known were hollow. Her phone rang. Morrison. We got him. Maya's heart jumped. Hale? Airport in Prague. Interpol picked him up. He's being extradited. Should be back in the States by Friday. Will the charges stick? Between your testimony, Emma's medical records, the nurse's statements, and the financial trail? Yes. He's looking at life. Multiple counts of trafficking, murder, conspiracy. He's done. Relief flooded Maya. What about the others? His network? We're dismantling it. Arrested 12 people so far. Doctors, administrators, security personnel. It's bigger than we thought. Spans multiple hospitals, multiple states. But we're shutting it down. And the dogs? The other puppies from Dakota's litter? Silence. Then Morrison's voice, softer. We found 2. Alive. In a research facility in Oregon, malnourished, abused, but alive. They're being rehabilitated. The other one, she trailed off. Dead? Yes, 6 months ago. Experimental surgery complications. Maya closed her eyes. Ranger had been lucky, had escaped, had found her. The others hadn't been so fortunate. We're pushing for legislation, Morrison continued. Banning genetic experimentation on animals, stricter oversight on canine programs. Ranger's story is making waves. Congress is paying attention. Good. That's good. You did this, Maya. You started it. You refused to quit. A lot of people owe you their lives. Maya didn't feel like a hero. She felt tired, sad, angry that it had taken so long, that Jennifer was still dead, that Emma would carry scars forever. But Emma was alive. Ranger was safe. Hale would face justice. Sometimes that had to be enough. 2 months later, Naya stood in a cemetery. Gray sky, cold wind. She held white roses, Rex's favorite. She placed them at his memorial, knelt, traced his name with her fingers. I found my way back, partner. Took a while. Took meeting someone as stubborn as you, but I made it. Ranger sat beside her, quiet, respectful. He'd never met Rex, but somehow Maya felt like they knew each other, like Rex had chosen Ranger specifically, had known they'd need each other. Footsteps approached. Emma and Rosa. They came to the cemetery once a month now, visited Jennifer's grave, said prayers, left flowers. Emma saw Maya, ran over. "Miss Maya?" Maya stood, hugged the girl. "Hey kiddo, how are you?" "Good. I start school next week. Real school, not hospital school." "That's wonderful." Emma knelt beside Ranger. "Can I walk him?" "Sure." Maya handed over the leash. Emma and Ranger walked through the cemetery, exploring. The girl talked constantly. Ranger listened patiently. They'd formed a bond, deep, unbreakable. Ranger visited them twice a week. Maya brought him, stayed for dinner, became part of their family. Rosa joined Maya at Rex's memorial. "He meant a lot to you. Everything." Jennifer felt the same about Dakota, said that dog saved her life a dozen times, in ways beyond the physical. Maya understood. Dogs gave purpose, loyalty, love without condition. They made broken people whole. "I'm glad Ranger found you," Rosa said. Glad Jennifer's last act led him to someone who'd understand. "You think she planned it?" "I know she did. She told me. If anything happens, Ranger will find the right person. Someone who needs him as much as he needs them. Someone who'll fight for what's right." Maya's throat tightened. "She barely knew me. She knew enough. That night, in the ambulance with Rex, she saw how much you loved him, how devastated you were. She recognized a kindred spirit." They stood in silence, watching Emma and Ranger. The girl laughed at something. The sound carried on the wind, pure, joyful, alive. "She's doing better," Maya said. "Because of you. Because you didn't give up." "I almost did, so many times. But you didn't. That's what matters." Emma ran back. "Miss Maya, can Ranger come to my birthday party? It's next month. I'm turning 7. "We wouldn't miss it." Emma hugged Ranger. Best present ever. They said goodbye, left Maya alone with Rex. She stayed another hour, talking to him, telling him about Ranger, about Emma, about finding purpose again. The sun broke through clouds. Golden light painted the headstones. Maya stood, touched Rex's memorial one last time. "Thank you for sending him to me. I'll take care of him. Promise." She walked away, toward her car. Ranger trotted beside her. Partner, family, future. At home, Maya hung her medal on the wall, beside Rex's collar, beside a new photo, her and Ranger at the ceremony. Emma between them, smiling. Her phone buzzed. Text from Vasquez. "Report Monday. New assignment. K9 unit needs a handler. Interested?" Maya looked at Ranger. He looked back. One ear cocked, questioning. "What do you think? Ready to work?" One bark, sharp. Affirmative. Maya smiled, typed her response. "Yes, we're ready." She'd been broken, lost, drowning in grief. But Ranger had pulled her back, given her reason to fight, to live, to believe that heroes still existed. Some heroes wore badges, some carried guns, and some walked on 4 paws with stars on their chests and courage in their hearts. Maya had been saved by all 3. Now it was her turn to save others. She knelt, hugged Ranger. "Let's go make your mother proud." Outside, the city hummed. Sirens wailed. Life continued. And somewhere, someone needed help, needed saving, needed a hero. Maya and Ranger would be there, together, partners, family. Because sometimes the broken pieces fit together perfectly. Sometimes loss leads to love. Sometimes the end is just the beginning. And sometimes a police dog guiding a hurt little girl through hospital doors changes everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop your country in the comments. These stories of courage and loyalty need to be heard everywhere, because heroes exist, and they come in all forms.